The Ant and the Bee. On a bright summer morning, the forest was alive with sounds. Birds sang, leaves rustled in the warm breeze, and the air carried the sweet fragrance of blooming flowers. Among the blades of grass, a small ant crawled out of its nest. It carried a grain of wheat on its back, much heavier than itself, but the ant walked steadily along the narrow path. The ant's life was a rhythm of endless work. Each day it searched the fields and meadows, gathering tiny seeds, grains, and dry leaves. With every trip, it returned to its underground nest, where the food pile grew higher and higher. The ant never seemed to tire, for it knew that seasons would change, and the warmth of summer would not last forever. In the same meadow, a bee flew gracefully from flower to flower. Its golden wings shimmered in the sunlight. The bee dipped into blossoms, drinking nectar and carrying pollen, sometimes resting in the cool shade of a tree branch. Its days were filled with sweetness and freedom. It worked, yes, but it stored nothing. Each day was lived as if tomorrow would always bring more flowers. The summer stretched on with long golden days. The ant continued its steady labor. It moved slowly, step by step, but never stopped. Meanwhile, the bee enjoyed the delights of the season. It bathed in the perfume of wildflowers, danced in the air, and soared above the fields. Then, little by little, the forest began to change. The sun no longer burned as brightly, and the wind carried a chill. Leaves turned yellow and drifted down. The once vivid meadows grew bare. The flowers, which had been abundant and colourful, wilted one by one until only dry stalks remained. The ant returned to its nest, where a mountain of food waited. Inside, the chambers were filled with grains and seeds, carefully stored and ready for the cold days to come. The ant settled into its safe home, protected from the biting wind and freezing nights. The bee, however, grew restless. It flew across empty fields, searching desperately for blossoms that were no longer there. Hunger gnawed at it, and the cold air drained its strength. Day after day it became weaker, its wings heavy, its body fragile. One afternoon, while wandering aimlessly, the bee came close to the ant's nest. From below the ground rose the faint warmth of shelter and the smell of stored food. The ant, hidden deep in its home, was safe and secure. The bee hovered nearby for a moment, then drifted away into the barren landscape. As winter descended, snow covered the forest. The ant remained alive and strong, fed by its careful work. The bee, however, faced the harsh truth of the season. The joy of summer had vanished, and with no preparation, it had no strength to endure. And so the lesson of the meadow was clear. While the pleasures of the present are sweet, it is the effort and patience of preparation that carry life safely into the future.